The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Hello,
Hi.
everybody.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody. It's Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle.
I missed you.
Oh, I missed you, too. Yeah, I'm so glad you're back. It was I was a little lonely guy here, I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm sure you did fine, but it was such a great trip that I had.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Number here, folks, is 877-927-6648. Please take time to look at my Health Signals newsletter. You'll find a lot of knowledge in there about what we are talking about here on the show. And Paige, you were at a Qigong
I
seminar,
was.
right?
Supreme Science Qigong. I had an opportunity to go to the 2.5-day event in Kissimmee with my teacher, Jeff Primack, of Supreme Science Qigong. I have to tell you, give yourself this gift. Go to the website, Qi Revolution, that's QIRevolution.com. Take a look at the schedule.
Got it up there,
The next 4-day event, this was a special event he was trying.
Right.
It was a 2.5-day event, so it was really cutting the schedule in half.
Okay.
That he has about half of the amount of the people. He limited it to 1,000. He usually has 2,000 to 3,000 people at these 4-day events.
Uh-huh.
He served us a 5-course dinner.
Wow.
Food healing, 5-course dinner.
Yeah,
for
Qigong
1,000 people.
really
and it was
involves a lot of
beautiful.
things.
It is fabulous. This is one of the best things. Everyone that I have taken to as my guest to the events has just had a profound experience and said it changed their life. I took Lucia.
Oh, you did?
Lucia went with me.
Oh, that's great.
She loved it. Lucia's our paleo chef. Next event, and I'll talk more about it, but take a look up here while we've got it. The next Supreme Science Qi Revolution event, the Ultimate Empowerment Experience, is happening June 14th to the 17th in Austin. For 4 days, it's $149. They usually have blocks of room, and they, the idea is to keep the room costs down and have a high-powered experience.
So, I know a little bit about Qigong. I've never experienced it. I've seen little videos of, little clips of some of the movements, and I've taken some Tai Chi, which is closely related, or is a part of it. I'm not really sure. So let's explain to the audience exactly what the whole, maybe a little bit of the history of Qigong. I know it comes from Asian medicine.
Chinese and the Supreme Science Qigong, Jeff Primack has studied with many Qigong masters. You've probably seen some of these YouTube videos, I'm going to use it, of Qigong healers that have actually really cultivated their bodily energy and used it in a miraculous healing.
Yes.
For those of you who want to see some Qigong in action, I think Greg Braden has a video that says kidney cancer disappears in under 10 minutes. And these were Qigong masters that were, cultivating the energy. So Qi is known as life force.
Right.
Qi is the life force that's all around us. In yoga we call it prana, Qi. There's so many different designations, breath work. They're in different cultures. We refer to the energy. 4 or 5
different types of elements that go into Qigong.
Oh, you're talking about the 5 elements?
Yeah, the
well,
5
element is Asian. It is actually goes back to the emperors of China, and the study of health and healing and life science was based on 5-element theory.
Okay.
Wood, air, water, earth, this kind of a thing.
Right.
And there's a lot of 5-element theory embedded in this approach to Qigong. So Qi, think of it as life energy, and Gong is actually what we call the cultivation or working of the energy.
Okay.
And, it's very much...
And it has movement involved, and sound and breath.
Breath with movement. And it's actually what I call a moving meditation.
Yeah, because it's also, there's a visual aspect to this also, isn't there?
There's a visual aspect. There's a breathing aspect that, as you're paying attention to the breath, very much like yoga. See, I love Qigong and I love yoga. And what I learned so much from Allie, she made the biggest impression upon me when I was taking her courses was that as long as you were breathing, you were having a perfect yoga practice. And that's the case with Qigong. Yeah. As long as you are breathing. So there's forms.
It's a form of martial art, almost, in a sense.
It's a combination of martial art.
Right.
And Jeff has really implemented and brought a lot of, he's a Reiki master, he's a Qigong teacher, he's an Ashtanga Kundalini teacher. He's done everything, and he brings this wisdom, this power to his teachings, and all I can tell you is that you will look different and feel different after the 4-day.
That's pretty amazing.
And I hope that you will give yourself the gift. As I've said, can you scroll down, Nico? There's one, so we kind of come full circle in the year. The June events in Austin, Texas. In June, you're in Phoenix, you can go. LA, August, tickets $149. You get a touch of all the stuff. And this is a lot of my inspiration. What I do in my office is I teach people about breath empowerment. I teach people about food healing. I encourage them with paleo, but you've all heard me talk about the terrific tonic and the super smoothie. Well, this is what was my inspiration to incorporate that.
Okay.
If I can get that kind of nutrition in people's things, then we're going to get those high phytochemical, nutrition in the smoothies. So you're going to go with me next year?
Of course. Yeah,
I think maybe we'll get Tom, because I think Tom loves all this stuff, and maybe Alan too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading a little bit on this, and in China it was outlawed for a number of years between the 1960s and then 1976, and then they had the revolution, and now they're more open about it. But it wasn't only Qigong, but many of the traditional Chinese awakening type of martial arts types of things were all discouraged. They didn't want the population to be smart. They didn't want them to be enlightened. They wanted to keep them under the thumb.
It was all for the emperors. It was all for the elite. Does that sound familiar? Now, this is the interesting thing. I have a acupuncturist, Dr. Teresa Miller, that I see, who's a wonderful acupuncture Oriental medicine, doctor of Oriental medicine, and she really bases her practice on 5-element, very much the same way Jeff teaches us. And what she explained to me, and I know we have a caller and we'll be there in a second, she explained to me that traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, was actually designed for the masses. In other words, it doesn't have the good stuff in it.
Okay.
But 5-element theory, in which Qigong, a lot of 5-element in the Qigong, at least that I've been exposed to, was for the elites. So there you go, guys. That's that, and it'd be interesting to find that out. But just so you know, the theory of how it's applied using 5-element is important. We've got a caller, I think, right?
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Okay, I thought I saw Al waving at us. Okay.
He wasn't waving at us.
Okay, very good. But anyways, I think you would all like it, and some of the things that you learn at the Qigong events is breath empowerment.
Okay.
And we've got a lying breath empowerment meditation and also 9-breath method. This creates an amazing amount of oxygenation in the blood. With Qigong, even the standing forms, which look very slow, actually creates more oxygen than a run.
Yeah, because the intensity and the focus of where you're going with it. That makes a lot of sense. I noticed that it's a little bit like Tai Chi, where you go through certain movements. Is that choreographed?
To me, it looks like it, but because of the meditative and the breathing technique, I think, yes, there are forms
Right.
we're going to be using. And you and I are going to do it at the studio.
Yes, I know. Because in Tai Chi, of course, you have all these movements that you go through, and you can do short forms of it and long forms of it. It's kind of almost like a Texas hoedown, the line dancing type of thing.
Right, right.
Only much slower, of course, but everybody's choreographed, looks kind of cool. And once you get the whole movements, there is a fun, there's a happiness about it, and that's what dancing does, of course. So this is kind of takes you, I think, along those lines, and then even deeper because of the control of the breath and some of the visualization, I think, that you do. So no wonder it moves the spirit.
And, some very famous people study Qigong. If you ever watch Tiger Woods, the way he walks, there's a certain hand, we call it Qigong walking, and it's actually feeling the chi and controlling the chi. Well, it's the hands and the way he's moving the hands to work the chi around him. So if you understand that the real power is in the empty space, maybe the empty space is God. See? And you're cultivating the chi,
sure,
the life energy,
sure,
which
the
is,
life energy,
So.
Well, there is more spaces between the solid of, when you look at molecules, much like planets and galaxies, and you realize this is a form. We look at the table and it's hard, but there's actually more space in there. It's just how the molecules are attracted to each other.
They've slowed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, all matter is energy. Just we have been matter that has slowed to a force that creates a physical.
It's just such fascinating stuff, too.
It is. And, the other thing is there's some wonderful keynote lectures and presentations at the 4-day event. So, I hope you'll take a chance to do that. Visit QiRevolution.com and experience Qigong at one of the events. And usually it circles around here to Florida for those of you that are in Florida. We kind of culminated. Now he's kind of working his way out across the country and kind of back home again.
Okay. So what's next on your list of things to do?
Well, I don't know. I told you that there's possibility. I may have an opportunity to go to Hawaii with this group. So I'm working on that.
That would be really good. And you've also made a little commitment to, at my studio, do a little Qigong once a week.
Yeah, I think that we're going to start doing that we haven't set up the date. We've got to look at the schedule of things. But I want to start teaching the Qigong level 1 form and empower people to use it in their everyday life, because I think it's powerful if you can start to use it. The goal is to get people to come to the class, and of course wherever there's more people, there's more chi being cultivated, and that's wonderful, and I'm sure that there'll be some people that want to do it with us. Yeah. But also the breath empowerment. I find that to be such a moving experience, and I think that we could all become about 10 years younger if we did this breath empowerment and increase that oxygenation in our bodies.
Let me ask you, what's a typical day at a Qigong Chi Revolution seminar? What do you do in the morning, and
first of all, there's this phenomenal music. This wonderful gentleman, Jamie Diva, who's been with Jeff for years. He creates this wonderful music that he's programmed into 432 hertz. The new music that's into the heart thing. So everyone always remembers the music at the events, and it's playing loud. And they got great music, and everyone's just in bliss. So we come in. We do Qigong level 1 form. We sit down for a lecture. You're sitting in your yoga mats. And we listen to a lecture. We might have a smoothie tasting. We might do a Qigong strength training, which, I was part of the original class when he first started doing. We just had the 5-year anniversary of the Qigong strength training instructors, and I was in the first graduating class. We had to do, it's a series of about 100 push-ups, 100 leg kickbacks, 100 leg lifts that strengthen the lower abdominal area, and then some Qigong forms, one being horse stance. When we did the certification, we had to stand in horse stance for 90 minutes. Wow. Talk about a meditation. You got to be in a state of meditation to stand in horse stance. Yeah.
Well, this sounds wonderful. Folks, we're going to be right back with some other stuff, and the number is 877-927-6664. All right, pick up my house and newsletter, please.
See you after the break.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Hecht has just announced a live 90-minute webinar that he'll be hosting Saturday, June 7th from 9:30 till 11 a.m. Eastern Time, entitled Energy Opportunities During the Summer of 2014. With the frigid winter having depleted some key energy stockpiles, Russian political tensions high, and the storm season for the Gulf setting up to reverberate through energy markets worldwide, opportunities could present themselves over the summer months that could provide huge payoffs. When you sign up, you'll gain immediate access to a 7-page report Andy has put together as an introduction to what he'll be covering, so you can start preparing and get a feel for what Andy will be discussing live during the workshop on Saturday, June 7th. Andy will be advising his attendees of at least one trading recommendation in each area, including crude oil, natural gas, coal, and refining spreads and oil products. The best part is that this live 90-minute webinar is only $99. Don't wait. Sign up today and reserve your spot while gaining instant access to Andy's 7-page report right now. For all the details, visit the front page of TFNN.com. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back. I'm Paige Clarke. This is Nico Haan, and we're living a primal lifestyle, and we want you to too. And, you know, we have a regular listener, Tom from Orlando, that calls us. And we've been chatting a little bit back and forth, and he was really impressed with the information you shared about how pre-competition, you had actually used butter as an energy source. Now so Tom, who is a very avid competitive volleyball player, you know, wanted to make some changes. Now he eats a very healthy diet, you know, balancing health with budget, and but I think he still might have a few more grains than we would normally suggest. Yeah. But anyways, so he went ahead and bought some Kerrygold butter and had eggs in Kerrygold butter. And then, but he felt that it didn't really give him the energy that he was hoping that you shared for competition. Sure, yeah. And Tom, if you're out there listening and you want to call us in, feel free to give us a call. We got about 5 minutes on this section.
Well, there's a transitional period that you need to switch from the normal type of diet where you're burning sugar. And even though you may be on a very healthy diet that may not include a lot of sugar, there are so many foods in the average diet, even if you're going vegetarian, it's pretty much all glucose according to the body. And remember, we have protein, and we have fat, and we have glucose. If you're eating mostly foods that turn to glucose,
whether that be whole grains,
or
whole
grains,
and
you know, whole grains, do it a little bit slower. With whole grains, you still got the outer crust in there, and that's particularly a problem because those are hard to digest. Those are the proteins, and those are very hard for our body to digest. But they still you know, the majority of it is still going to turn to glucose. Of course, all your vegetables and pretty much the average American diet is going that route. And if not, then they're going to the oils that aren't really good for you, the vegetable oils. Right. And that really clogs up the system, too. So the transition period I'm talking about is 2 or 3 weeks for an average person who's pretty healthy.
Right.
Of where you start introducing more fat, and by the end of the 2 or 3 weeks, you're full-blown into maybe getting about 60% of your energy from fat, maybe 70%.
And that brings up a good point, because as you make this transition, because whether or not you were eating healthy fats or not, many of us had unhealthy fats growing up. You know, the trans fats we ate boxed in cereals and packaged and bagged and canned stuff. And we often see liver gallbladder insufficiency, so we want to do things to naturally cleanse and encourage the liver gallbladder to function so that that bile will come out and emulsify. Think of bile like soap. You know, when you got a greasy pot, you can't get the grease off?
Well, I think a guy like Tom is probably healthy enough where he can make the transition without doing any
But maybe not expect it all the first day.
Well, definitely not. I would say make the transition and you'll kind of feel like you're going downhill for a week or so. In other words, you'll get things like you'll feel weaker, you'll maybe have a little nausea. You're withdrawing from the sugar high. Yeah, you're withdrawing from those addictive foods, especially if you're eating grains. Grains and beans are much more addictive than the other. Well, sugar is addictive too. Right. But the other ones have kind of, like if you're eating bread, just the smell of bread draws you to it. Whereas if you've not eaten bread for a long time like I have, then the smell is kind of like, ugh. You know, same with conventional sugar. You know, before sugar tastes really good to you, but if you start eating a more of a primitive type lifestyle, you're not eating any fruits that are sweet at all. Right. In fact, you're drawn to the sourness of the fruit.
Yeah, the lemons and the limes and the berries.
Yeah, and those are the ones that traditionally we would have eaten, not the real sweet ones.
Or even any fruits.
No, because those are all cultivated fruits.
Well,
so the transition is 2 or 3 weeks for normal people. I've seen it take 6 months for somebody who's not, and then needing supplementation with the hydrochloric acid and other things also. So.
Yeah, and being able to utilize those.
Tom is on the line.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hey, Tom, you out there?
Hey, Tom, are you there?
Still eating my whole grain sandwich. Well, one of the problems I had that day was that even though I ate 3 or 4 sunny side up eggs and a stick of Kerrygold butter, which was just really startling. I mean, I love butter, but I've never just eaten it straight like that. And I had water on the side.
Sure.
I felt a little bit kind of hungry and a little bit weak all day long.
Yeah.
I ate a late lunch. I don't remember what it was. But I found myself during volleyball, for the first half of it, struggling to get moving like I wanted. Maybe for the last hour, I was doing pretty good, and it was steady.
Right.
The thing that seems to me is if I'm not emulsifying fats properly, because maybe I have some junk jammed up in my bile veins or my gallbladder.
What we were just talking about.
Well, we're going up on a break, so let's hang on, and I'll explain a little bit of the process in your body, what's going on with you, and that's going to explain exactly how you felt there. So hang on a few minutes. Folks, the number here is 877-927-6648. Please pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and Paige and I will be right back with Tom from Orlando.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Pump up, pump, 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 pump up, pump, 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 pump up, pump, 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 pumps your blood. The right atrium's where the process begins, where the CO2 blood enters the heart. Through the tricuspid valve to the right ventricle, the pulmonary artery and lungs. Once inside the lungs, it dumps its carbon dioxide and picks up its oxygen supply. Then it's back to the heart, through the pulmonary vein, through the atrium and left ventricle.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. We're talking to Tom from Orlando. Hey, Tom, you still there?
Oh, yes, and I do have a couple of questions and observations when you're ready for me.
Yeah, let me first of all go through a little scenario of exercise and how we eat. And there's two basic scenarios. Let's just pretend that one is you eating and exercising, and me is the second one. So the first thing that happens when you exercise is you're burning your fuel, which is your sugar, your glucose. And after quite a while, maybe an hour of exercising, your body automatically starts kicking in the fat. And that's the natural transition that takes place when you're a sugar burner. And basically, is you're running on two different types of fuel. The first one is kind of being used out, and then the second one kind of kicks in as a backup. What happens with me is I'm burning fat right from the beginning.
Because there's not a lot of extra sugar coming in.
Right. And the body will make the sugar for me that I need, but sugar is stored inside your muscles to be used when you need it. And when I'm burning fat, if I need extra, so I'm doing something, of high exertion, that's when the sugar kicks in for me as an extra booster. With you, you're going along using your sugar, that extra booster in the beginning, and when that runs out, you just automatically switch over to fat. That's what happens to long-distance runners.
Remember the picture we had of the marathon runner? Close your eyes and get a visual of this. And then the sprinter. And the marathon runner, you know, is atrophied looking, you know, because of burning sugar. And I think the sprinter looks healthier.
Yeah, so now they're doing a lot of experiments. Some of the newer stuff in the universities, they're really testing people on a ketogenic diet and you know, using them as a long-distance runner and see what happens. Now they're seeing really, really great results with that. The exercise industry for the last 50 years has been kind of the opposite way. No, you have to be a sugar burner, and then you'll use fat later on when you exercise. And that's kind of the whole dimension of losing weight in America is get on the treadmill or do something like that so you can tap into your fat. And my whole philosophy is you don't have to do that because I'm burning fat all day long. And on a ketogenic diet, that's what you do. So you're normalizing your weight all day long, and then if you need it, you got the sugar. And that's really a basic thing.
Well, of course, my problem is the exact opposite, and very few people talk about this, the fact that I've always been way underweight, skinny, struggling to gain weight. So I'd like to keep my fat.
Yeah. And on a ketogenic diet, you're going to do exactly that. If you're burning sugar, then your fat is kind of not moving around too much unless you really exercise a lot. But I think if you transition in a nice, safe way, I think you'll be fine. But, you know, it's going to be a decision that you have to make, and, you know, it changes your lifestyle a little.
Well, I didn't really have any severe problems other than what I described to you. I was just a little disappointed that I didn't have the energy at the first. I think by 8 o'clock we play normally 6:30 to 9, and we had a hard time getting going because there were shortage of people. But the first hour that I did play, I was just struggling to keep the energy going. Then the last hour, I was doing pretty fine.
Yeah,
steady.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm thinking, two things I want to say.
Sure.
I suspect that I still have biliary function to improve. I've gone through several phases over the years of purging gallstones out of my gallbladder, but the modern American diet, it's hard not to build up new ones. So I need to do that.
Right.
And I know that Dr. Marshall says that when people either are missing their gallbladder or they still have it but it's clogged, causing problems, and even if they don't think it's causing problems, in America we do have clogged gallbladders.
Yes. Absolutely.
So what we need to do is what I would like to do next time I do the butter trick is to take some either lecithin granules or some substance called limonene, which is essential oil of orange. Both of these are emulsifiers. They'll help emulsify the fat so I can break down and burn it. Make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does.
And again, that's a perfect opportunity to work on our super smoothie, like I was talking about. The Qigong super smoothie is a vehicle to put these superfood nutrition. And the lecithin granules, which are the only form of soy, that I like to have.
Soy,
it's a fermented,
Well, another thing, Tom, is that you'll find that if you're on a ketogenic diet, then the whole atmosphere in your whole digestive system changes to different bacteria that's going to do the same type of job that you're trying to do with these supplements.
Okay, well, the other thing I wanted to ask, and I do
So I'm saying you're right in using them.
Thank you. I do want to replay the tape of what you said earlier several times so I can absorb it all.
And that was kind of a loose off the top of my head thing. But if you start doing some investigation about ketogenic diets, you're going to find the information is along those lines, and you'll be able to, really make sense of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the second thing I wanted to say was that, I'm hoping that this first thing of getting emulsification in there will help, because I really chafe and struggle and draw a blank at this idea of transition. For example, and this is tangible, if I'm going to eat eggs and a stick of butter, well, say that's too much, I got to transition. Instead of eating a whole stick, I'll eat just a quarter of a stick. Well, if I only eat that, then I've got to fill in the meal with something else. So it's almost like I got to have two diets, two sets of dishes for each meal, and I'm a single guy and I struggle emotionally.
Well, what I
want to go all at once.
Sure. What I would recommend instead of doing that is changing one meal at a time, starting with breakfast. That's the most important one. So I would change my breakfast for a while, maybe add in lunch, the second time, and then do the full gamut. So maybe a week of one, another week of the other, and by the third week you're in full transition. And I think that's a smarter way of doing it.
You know,
well, if I do this just one day a week, will that be too slow to work?
Yeah, I would say, then you're bouncing your body between two different, types of eating, and I'm really not sure if that's going to make it any smoother. I think it'd probably be worse.
Maybe I'll be a guinea pig for us. But what I will do is I'll work on. You said add carbs also. I think what I'll do is I'll have the butter.
No, I don't think you need to worry about carbs at all.
Well, let me make a comment here. Whereas your breakfast used to have, say, a bread or a grain, he's having the eggs. He's getting great assortment. There's nothing better than the egg as a protein source, as long as he's not frying it and ruining the butter. One of my favorites, as you know, I do like greens, and I use them more than Nico does. One of my favorite things to do with an egg, and it gives me a little more sustenance and a little more texture, too, is in another pan with my butter on very low heat, I throw in the mixed greens, like the Swiss chard, the baby greens you can buy. So I have a little bit of buttered with pink salt greens, my eggs, and your butter. So you're following me? That might make it a little more palatable to you, Tom.
Yeah, you don't have to eliminate. I would just use your carbohydrates, your greens, as kind of a condiment to accent your meals. And you can have as much as you want, really, as long as it doesn't take over the meal. So you think about your protein.
Go ahead.
Let me finish this first. You think about your protein and the fat that surrounds the protein or whatever you're making it with, and just add a little bit of greens to it, and you've got a nice balanced meal. But the focus is on a little bit of protein and the fat energy. And as long as you have that, the carbohydrates are not going to overpower you. It's when it happens the other way. When you start with cereal, now you try to add in fat. Fat can't compete with cereal because there's too much cereal.
Yeah.
Well, what I was trying to think of was during the course of this particular athletic day, I do eggs and butter in the morning. If I have, instead of 3 meals that day, just have a late lunch, which is a good quantity of brown rice and chicken and cheese. Mm-hmm. That has always, even by itself, charged me up for the evening.
Sure.
But if I had a smaller quantity of that around maybe 3 o'clock, after having done the butter and eggs in the morning, do you think that would be a good acceptable way to plan for the evening?
I certainly do. I would make sure that the chicken that you're eating is not white chicken, no breasts. I would say eat the dark meat so it has some fat with it. And the rice, I would say instead of brown rice, maybe do a little bit of white rice. And instead of, have it cooked already and then fry it up. So it's kind of like a prebiotic?
That's a question, because I thought that we were always supposed to stay away from white rice and do brown rice because it still has the fiber.
Well, that comes from the 60s when, they were trying to convince us that there is a better product out here than the white bread and the white rice. But the Chinese have learned many, many centuries ago the reason they went to white rice is because of all the antitoxins in the brown rice. That outer shell is the proteins that are hard to digest.
And the phytic acids.
Yeah, and so they use the rice as more of a prebiotic where they actually cooked it, then let it set for a while, and then cooked it again and did kind of a fermentation process, and that brings in good bacteria. So what you're stuck with is a starch that really has bacteria alive in it that is ready to help your body digest it.
Actually, it turns out the rice dish I was going to eat is white rice, and I was always regretful of that, but now you're saying I should be glad of it, huh?
Yeah, and you don't load it up like the Chinese restaurant does. You take enough that fits in your palm of your hand so it doesn't overwhelm your protein and fat.
And then again, you saute some greens lightly.
Yeah. And use some good oil with it.
Well, butter, or coconut oil or something.
Or some lard.
Yeah, or lard.
Yeah.
You remember the seed oils we don't ever really want to heat. We can drizzle them on after something's warm, but I prefer you to cook with butter or coconut oil. And again, you could also have a Qigong super smoothie. Qigong Marshall.
The greens mix. Would the greens mix be good?
Well, greens. But I want to talk to you more. Like, how you just mentioned adding the limonene oil. Okay, so that's the essential oil of orange, and as an aromatherapist, I love that. But why do we put limonene? Well, Jeff at Supreme Science Qigong has taught us that citrus have very powerful anti-cancer, very much phytochemicals in them. The limonene phytochemical that has anti-cancer properties, but it also has bioemulsification properties. So in our Supreme Science daily super smoothie, that's the base, a piece of lime. Lime can overpower, but that's like getting an emulsifier. We put that, I'm going to say my mouth is watering thinking about it. You know, you peel the skin because we want all the white pith. Yeah. That's where the bioflavonoids are, and the limonene oil, the limonene. So we want to
That's what the Chinese people, they throw the pulp, the meat pretty much away. They have
a little bit of the rind. Yeah, so when I peel my limes before I do my Qigong Dr. Marshall smoothies that I actually use and encourage my clients to build in as one of their meals a day. It's like my vehicle to get superfood nutrition. And remember when I say superfood, I'm not just talking about vitamins and minerals. I'm talking about phytochemicals that are hiding in the cellulose fiber. And unless you use a high-speed blender, many of those are not available to us. As an example, the phytochemical limonene is not available in orange juice. Even if you just make orange juice, you've got to pulverize the pulp. It's hiding in the secret white stuff, and we can talk more about that. But I know you're open to that. So if we can work with you to get meals that have a little more fat density in them, making sure you're digesting them, and encouraging superfood smoothies that help you emulsify your fat, one meal a day, Tom, I think that will be a very economical way for you to get very nutritious food and start to move your body towards utilizing fat as energy. And you talked about, I know that you mentioned you struggle with your weight, and we want to make sure, that's one of the reasons that I know you're a big fan of HCL, because the HCL helps us to, and our digestive enzymes that we really like so much help to stimulate pepsin, which helps us to break down protein and minerals. So,
well, that's funny that you mentioned that, because I think of those little citrus things and the little fruits and the little vegetables that we have as a vehicle to put into our body to get a response from the body to help us digest the rest of the stuff. Mm-hmm. So it works much like the HCL in getting our body ready to help us digest the fat and the protein, so those go to the right places.
You know what the best HCL is? It's beet derived. That's why we love Dr. Marshall's. Yeah. It's true non-GMO, because most of the sugar beets in this non-GMO beet. We say beet beats the disease. And guess what we have in Supreme Science Qigong that goes into our smoothie? A piece of lime, not too much, not too little, and a piece of beet. Yeah. So, that has the trimethylglycine and the betalains, which are the pigments that are in the beet and the nopal cactus that turn it red. They're so powerful that fight inflammation. Right, Tom?
Right. Thanks so much, guys and gals, for your help here. I'll let you know in the future as the butter experiment goes.
Okay.
By the way, you can see videos on YouTube of people taking a challenge to try to eat a stick of butter and getting sick on it and all that stuff.
Well,
I'm happy to work taking it seriously.
Tom, one of our guests, Nora Gedgaitis, she wrote the book Primal Body, Primal Mind, and she talks about living with Eskimos and living off of a stick of butter a day and losing 43 pounds. Now, I know you don't want to lose weight, but, the idea that fat
just normalizes your body. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Tom. Talk to you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Folks, we got another segment coming up, so stick around. The number here is 877-927-6648, and you have just enough time to press the little buttons and get my Health Signals newsletter. Please pick it up.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Up next, the Diagnostics Trading Hour with Daryl Martin here on TFNN.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. And I'm Paige, and this is Nico.
Hi.
You know, we've been talking a little bit about, trying to make that transition to not just being a sugar burner where you're having to run to the next sandwich or the next bowl of pasta for your energy. Yeah. And people that are eating like that, the American breakfast with cereal in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, and rice or pasta at night. Literally, I mean, those substances have like a morphine type substances we've talked about.
Yeah.
It just says, hey, come get me another, come eat another serving.
You just have to change your whole mind about it. I think when you get the information that we talk about on the show, I think you'd be convinced that it's the right path to go, because there's so many problems with overloading your body with a lot of carbohydrates, especially processed ones. Now, if you eliminate all the processed ones, I really don't have a problem with it. But then all you're stuck with basically is fruits and vegetables. And then I would say you got to eliminate all the sweet fruits.
I actually had a little thought about that. Really, herbs are medicine.
Exactly.
Okay? And I'm not so sure that maybe I want to say fruits and vegetables are medicine.
Well, I think if you put them in the contents of what we're putting them on is where you're not eating so many of them, because they're so powerful. I think if you eat too many of them, your body's just overloaded.
Well, as an example, we just talked about using the small piece of citrus in your daily smoothie. And guys, I want to clarify, a smoothie is not a shake. when I say shake, I think of people that are buying these packaged processed protein powders and et cetera, and they're overloading with, man-made stuff. I'm talking about nature, a culinary treat of adding phytochemicals that are healing to your body and have specific medicinal value to your body. And, what we learn in Supreme Science Food Healing is we're adding, especially if you have blood sugar issues, this is not a fruit smoothie. In fact, most people can't have fruit in their smoothie until blood sugars are balanced.
Well, that's
maybe a little piece of lime.
Yeah.
Remember, there's special reasons why we want a little bit of that every day for both bile and for cancer protection.
Well, I like smoothies that have fat in them too.
That's a great vehicle for putting the fat.
Exactly. That is the vehicle, because you're not going to get those phytochemicals to do anything unless you have, because a lot of them are fat soluble.
I like to see people using them as a vehicle to get phytochemicals and to get healthy fats.
Yeah.
And, the natural protein that comes in it, then, enjoy your protein with your grass-fed beef or your beautiful wild-caught fish, or your beautiful free-range, bug-eaten egg. And that's great. Actually, guys, putting an egg from a reliable source, 1 or 2 into your smoothie, I kind of like that, too.
And I got some double yolkers in my last batch. Yeah, like 3 of them.
Wow.
I was kind of full for the day there. One thing I want to, clarify, too, is making the transition is really important, folks. And typically, my buddies who are, doing jiu-jitsu with me that make the transition, they say, funny, I felt bad for the week to 10 days, and then slowly, all of a sudden, it turned around, and then I got a burst of energy, and I started feeling clearer, and I started feeling not hungry anymore, and the cravings are lost. So that's the best scenario that you can get. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Sometimes it takes 3 months. But isn't it worth it to clean your body out and start living, the way we're supposed to be meant to be lived, where you're not hungry all the time, you're not burdened by
It's about having a primal edge.
Yeah, it's the primal edge, and we're going to have a primal edge pretty soon, too.
Yeah, we are. We want to teach you how to have a primal edge, and sometimes that's about eating less but getting more, and that's more nutrient-dense density in the things that you eat.
And I've been on this now for 2 months. We've been
formulating our
product.
It's going to be a comprehensive.
And it's so clean and it's so easy. And right now we're in the labeling stage and getting the final product into what kind of bottle we're going to use and stuff like that. So it's right around the corner. I know we've been promising this a long time, but Primal Edge is coming, and you're going to be very, very happy with it.
Stay tuned. I think we're going to have some specials for people.
Oh yeah, we're
give it a
definitely
try.
Be full of specials for sure. Yeah, got to get you to try this stuff, folks. That's it for today. So we'll see you next Friday. Paige and I'll be back then. You have a good weekend. Memorial Day. Yes.
Yes, long one. Have fun.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.